is leadership development so difficult? And why do we partner or need to partner with an executive coach or an organization like SZH to make that development happen? Really, I think it boils down to two reasons. And the first is the biological one. We have neural pathways that we reinforce with our habits and our behaviors. And the more we engage in a habit or behavior, the more we reinforce that pathway, the way our brain makes a connection. A happens, that leads to B. And part of what happens in development is we need to unwind those pathways and build new pathways. And that just frankly takes time, because part of what we're doing is we're literally reshaping our brain, or how our brain works for us, how we're making meaning of a situation. And for most of us, that doesn't happen in an instant. That takes repetition, that takes intention. The other reason that I think development can be so challenging for folks is that at heart, we're also working against ourselves a little bit, and we don't mean to. What I'm talking about here are what I'll call hidden commitments. This comes from the work of Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy. It's the center of their book, Immunity to Change. But the idea is this, that we have hidden commitments, things that we are committed to and don't realize we are. And we're committed to them for good reason. But because we have that hidden commitment and we don't recognize that we're committed to something that we're not seeing directly on the surface, what ends up happening is we then have a competition between our commitments, our commitment to develop and this other hidden commitment. I think the classic example I see with clients is they've risen up the ranks. They're now trying to scale their leadership, and they have to delegate. They have to empower their team to go and do the work. They're no longer in a role where they are producing the work. As a senior leader, they're helping their team produce the work. And it can be a sticky transition, especially for high-performing leaders who have a commitment, and often an explicit commitment, to excellence. They want to deliver the best work they can. Underneath that may be an explicit or hidden commitment to perfectionism, right? They may have some notion that only I can deliver this work in the way that it needs to, or they have a commitment to delivering the work in a certain way. And here's the hard truth for most of those leaders. Your people aren't going to deliver the work in exactly the same way you are. Now, they might get to a similar outcome, but they're not going to have the same process. And that is the beauty of empowerment, that we empower our teams and we empower our team members to do things, and they might even find better solutions. But the first step in that is unwinding that hidden commitment to it's got to be done this way, it's got to be done my way. There is a particular way that is going to yield the best results. Maybe that's true. But if you really are going to step into that senior role and you're going to empower your people, you're going to delegate, you've got to let go of the process of how things happen and really get clear on here are the expectations for what this outcome, this end result looks like. And so when we go back to this notion of development, right? We've got these two threads here. We've got the one of rewriting our habits and our neural pathways that reinforce those habits, and recognizing, identifying, naming, and frankly, unwinding some of our hidden commitments. And now, our neural pathways and our hidden commitments may overlap, but it's important to have some distinction and separate. Oh, okay, I'm literally working on my brain to think in new ways, or have a sequence of habits or behaviors in new ways. And I'm working to recognize where I have commitments that I don't even recognize that I have commitments for good reasons that may interfere or run counter to this new commitment of the leader I want to be. And here at SZH, that's the work we do with you. We help you build those new skills, those new habits, those new behaviors, and we go to that deeper level. We help you uncover what might actually be getting in the way that you're not recognizing and you've committed to for good reason. It may be the very reason that you are such a successful leader or your team is so successful. And yet, that hidden commitment may be the barrier to getting to where you really want to go or where you know your team can go. And after all these years with working with leaders and their teams, we know we can help you get there. We can help you get to that place that you know your team can be. At SZH Consulting, we know that when we get those two pieces right, we help build the new skills, we help uncover those hidden commitments, That's where the magic happens. That's where you as the leader comes alive. That's where you as your team starts delivering at that next level. And frankly, that's why we're here. And at SZH, we know when we get those two pieces right, we start to build those new neural pathways, those new habits, those new behaviors, and we uncover those hidden commitments. That's when the magic happens. That's when you start to get those results you always knew you could, but you weren't sure how to get them.